Welcome to Empire Builder Unfiltered, the real talk podcast for entrepreneurs who aren't here to play small. I'm Martha Mazur, CEO, business coach, your mentor, and a straight shooter who's built, scaled, and stumbled through business over the past 18 years. Around here, we don't sugarcoat the journey. We talk about what it really takes to build something that lasts. The mindset, the strategy, the setbacks, the breakthroughs, and all the messy, powerful growth in between. If you're building something, if you're building an empire and tired of surface level advice, you're in the right place. Let's get unfiltered. Welcome to another episode of Empire Builder Unfiltered. And today I have a treat for you. What if the thing holding you back from building your empire is you? My friend, Kat Sorensen, had the career wins, the physical discipline, the impressive resume, but underneath it all was a relentlessness she couldn't outwork or outperform. It took hitting a wall and walking into an AA meeting she didn't even want to attend for everything to change. Today, she's the CEO of Laguna Shores Behavioral Health, guiding others through recovery with the same radical honesty and heart that changed her life. Her empire wasn't built by hustling harder. It was built by healing. And the lessons she's learned along the way might change how you think about leadership, purpose, and what it really means to rise. Welcome, Kat, to the show.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Wow. That was amazing.
Well, you're amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is like a gift. Look at this beautiful scenery. This week has been amazing.
So amazing. It's been amazing. We're in an amazing setting, but most of all with amazing people. And it's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I can't wait to unpack. Well, you had a successful career and a disciplined lifestyle. But on the outside, it looked like you had it all, right?
Yeah. Big time.
And what was really going on internally during that time?
Yeah. So when you say that time, it was, really my whole life, I never really felt like I fit in. I came from a household where, my parents were amazing people and did the best they could. But it was really, they also learned that if you make the outside look okay, then hopefully the inside will look okay. Or like people won't ask questions about the inside, right? And so that was like a coping skill I had learned from a really young age. And I just learned to be an achiever. I learned that if I could do more and if I could accomplish more, that people will love and accept me. And the challenge with that is that you don't truly learn how to love yourself. And, I got to a place where you can also use that as a facade, right? So I was able to, getting the things, getting the businesses, the accolades. I decided I wanted to be a bodybuilder and I signed up for 8-week prep and, won the show. Right. Like, that's just kind of how I've been blessed to work really hard. And I, if I want to do something, I will get it done. The challenge with that is that it really does create this weird sense of just loneliness and emptiness. So I think the time that you're talking about was really, I was at a really amazing time in my career. I was working for a corporate software company in sales. I had been one of their top reps, actually came down here and sold Zumba Fitness, which was like a huge deal for our company at the time. Wow. And, just was having like a bodybuilding career. And I was engaged at the time and really truly felt like I had it all. And I got to a point where, the partying and the drinking and like the drugs and like the cocaine and all of that stuff didn't really like it wasn't really fun anymore. You know, like a lot of people, we would go out and celebrate the end of quarter or end of month. And for me, it kind of became a lifestyle because I used alcohol and pills to cope with how I felt on the inside. And so what it appeared to most people was like, oh my gosh, she's got it all together. She's has a great career and, you know, makes 6-7 figures and has, you know, a great relationship and has a great physique and, you know, accomplishes all these things. But on the inside, I was so broken and really got to a place in 2015 where I just didn't want to be here anymore. And, you know, the challenging thing with that was that I knew Christ, right? I became a born again believer when I was 18. I did not grow up in a home with religion or like a relationship with Christ. Really, my family just went to church Christmas and Easter. And so, you know, I became a Christian when I was 18. Somebody at my work introduced me to the gospel.
Wow.
And that somebody actually became my husband like a year and a half later. So he and I got engaged on my 19th birthday. I had a radical transformation from like this crazy party girl at 18 to this Christian wife, you know, doing like taking kids to like backpacking trips for youth camp and all of these amazing things. And so I did have this change and this transformation in my heart. But what happens if we don't have community and if we don't have real, I believe to this day, it's women relationships that can see us to the depths, right? And it doesn't surprise me at all. You know, I've till about 5 years ago only had male friends because you only have to go an inch deep with them. You know, like I can be the most popular, you know, like girl and all the guys, they like, there's no like, not to say that they don't have depth, but all they wanted from me was an inch deep. And I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's as far as you want it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. 100%. And so, you know, at 24 years old, just to backtrack. So I went to college in University of Colorado, and I had a really amazing career there. I graduated and got an incredible job, and they had me travel to a sales conference for like the first or second weekend that I was there. And by this time I had stopped drinking and partying because I had a pretty radical change when I met Jesus at 18. I had a few like mess ups in college, but for the most part, I didn't drink or smoke weed. Definitely didn't smoke cigarettes, like nothing crazy for almost like 4 years. And I guess it was like 2 years at that point. I graduated, I get this amazing job, and they send me to a sales conference and there's an open bar. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fine. You know, I have because I thought if you could stop drinking for 2 years that like you didn't have a problem. Right. And, you know, I didn't know that I truly do have an allergy to alcohol. And so what happens when I drink is different, radically different than what happens when normal people drink, which means that I can't really control what's going to happen next. Sometimes I can just have one. Sometimes I wind up in Cuba, you know, like that's just what happens, right? And so I think that because I took 2 years off, that I'm okay. And so I, you know, start taking shots with everyone, and you know, I black out, and, you know, I'm having the night of my life. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Yeah. And there weren't really any consequences when I, you know, woke up the next morning. Everyone thought I was funny. We all like laughed. It was like, okay, this is cool. Like,
You're cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
And everyone was still like, everyone was drinking. So it seemed very like acceptable and normal. Like it was very much the culture. And so I was like, I mean, I didn't know, but that kind of lit a fire inside of me. And so I was like, then started sneaking alcohol. I then started looking for ways to drink. When my husband wasn't around, I would ask to go to like sales conferences, and it became this very like looking back at it now, didn't even realize, how much like mental space it took up, but it really does set this thing on fire where, I mean, it's all I can think about. And I remember in college, his family would come over and they would bring one bottle of wine. And I would just be like, what is everyone else going to drink? That's weird.
Hey, it's a big my guy.
Right. But then, we would have one glass of wine, and I distinctly remember saying to myself one night, I'm not doing this anymore because it hijacks my mind the entire night. That's all I can think about.
Yeah, more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, because I'm able to control the obsession, and I didn't, I would like not be able to really participate in the discussion because I'm looking at, okay, are they going to finish theirs? Maybe I could just take everyone's dishes
And start drinking the wine.
Yes. Or like, would it be weird? I know. It was, and that is a symptom of alcoholism. And that's why alcoholism is so tricky, because it's self-diagnosed, right? It would make sense and be so much easier, like shellfish allergy. A lot of us have an exterior
Allergic reaction.
Right. And you can be like, oh, your lips are swollen, right? Your throat is closed. You have an allergy. The allergy to alcoholism is actually mental. And so it's this mental obsession that kicks off that only I, if I'm being honest with myself, can determine, do I have this thing or not? And so I stopped drinking. And, another thing that happens pretty regularly is when you don't have a spiritual way to fix this, which I believe is a spiritual malady, we find a physical way to treat it.
Yeah.
And so I started running like a lot. Like I got a Jack Russell, and we would run like 10 miles a day.
Wow.
And then like 12, and then 15. And then she started hiding under the bed when I got her leash out. And then I was like, okay, I guess I got to get another dog. So I go and I get a pit bull, and he does the same thing. And I am just like this crazy person because I have this insatiable appetite. And I do not know it, but it is for God. And I'm filling it with these other things, right? And so I graduate, I get this job, I start drinking. I don't know that I have just lit this allergy on fire. And now I am looking for opportunities to drink. And this is the crazy thing is I had this incredible husband. Like, he was a man of God. We were pure until we got married. We waited. We did everything right. We did premarital counseling. I mean, he's an incredible man. And one night I was at a sales conference, and I ended up going back to another guy's room, and I woke up in his bed. And I was like, oh, this is an issue, right? Because at first it was just fun, right? I was just like, no, this is fun. I'm just like sowing my wild oats or whatever other lies the enemy tries to, convince us that we're doing. But now I'm hurting someone else, and I'm hurting a man who I love so much. I was absolutely devastated. I like blacked out. I didn't remember even what happened, but I know what happened. And so I went home and I told my husband, and I said, I am so sorry.
Wow.
And he was devastated, like absolutely mortified. And he said, you have to stop drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that was never an option for me. I literally, in my crazy brain, was like, oh no, I just have to stop traveling. Like maybe I just have to, right. I just have to go to a different company. Like I didn't eat before I drank. I know, it's so insane. And so, we went to counseling and we worked through it, and, lo and behold, I did not stop drinking. And so it happened again, and then it happened again. And he was like, oh, okay, what do we need to do? So I quit that job. We moved me, and he takes a job in the mountains because like, hopefully I could be safe there, which I'm not. I'm not safe anywhere, because where I go, there I follow. Yes. And so we go to the mountains, and I, find myself in a professional situation. I really have no, like, I am so underqualified, but I take over an insurance company. I go get licensed within 6 weeks. I now have staff. I have an entire book of business. I am way in over my head. I'm 22 years old. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But, we're trying to start over. We get plugged in with a church. We're like doing all this amazing stuff in the mountains, like snowshoeing at night and like mountain biking. We get super involved in this church, and like things were okay. But it was, I don't know, maybe within 6 months, I'm presented with an opportunity to do cocaine with one of my clients at my office, and I do it. And I haven't, like, literally, I can't even remember like the thoughts, or like, it is just like, I'm just on and running again. And then I'm drinking, and then it's just a matter of time. And so I finally, it gets so bad, I run off to Mexico with a dude. My husband has to come pick me up at the airport. I'm an absolute wreck. And I just said, please give me a divorce. Like, please just give me a divorce. Like, let me just go and do whatever it is that I need to do. Because at that point, I didn't know like what it was, but I knew that it was deep. And he did. He's like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I don't blame you. Yeah. And so then at 24, he gave me a divorce, 24, 25. And it was just like on and popping. It was like, okay, all right.
Freedom.
Yeah. Freedom, full on rebellion. You know what, Jesus? Like, I just tried to change my whole life for you.
And in order.
Right. I didn't see you in the light. So maybe you'll come find me in the dark, like, because I'm going this way. Right.
Yeah.
And I did all the things, lowering my standards faster that I could violate them, doing all the things that, I was like, I would never do that. I would never do that. And I find myself in a place where I'm doing it on a regular basis. And, I move from that mountain town down to Denver, and then from Denver to Atlanta. And then, last ditch effort, Atlanta to California. My brother had met a woman. He was starting a family with her. I went to their wedding on the beach. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a perfect place. I'm still in so much delusion that I really think that the place is what's going to fix me. Yes. And so this whole time too, I am going to church. That's mind you, like, that's what's crazy, is I am trying to have a relationship with Jesus. Like, I know the truth, right? Like, I knew it in my heart. And so I wrote myself a letter on my way from Atlanta to California saying, this is it, starting over. This was in July of 2014. And really just saying, like, this is going to be the day that I go back to church for real, that I, start volunteering, that I start getting consistent with my workouts. I'm going to be fun auntie, and we're going to have Saturday morning, pancake breakfast, and, we're going to go to the beach and be a family. And that afternoon, I'm outside of I made it one night. That afternoon, I'm outside unpacking my pod, and these guys walk by with red Solo cups, and they invited me to a barbecue, and I'm up at the bar that night, and I'm plugged in with the local drug dealer. And he and I started dating. I always like to date drug dealers. It's just easier that way.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
Yeah, it's honestly strategy if you know anything. But yeah, and he showed up at my house, or my brother's house, one day looking for me, and my brother had just had a newborn, and this man was super high. My brother had to call the cops on him. It was like my brother's never even seen drugs, right? Let alone now he has a newborn, and I'm bringing this drug dealer to his home, and he is literally like having to call the cops, and he's like, get out. Like, I don't want to see you. The kids, like, this is not what we thought. And he's like, then he came over the next day, and he's like, says like, I don't know what has happened to you, but you need to make some changes. I don't want you around for Thanksgiving, and that was September of 2015. And so I was like, okay, fine. I feel like you're really overreacting, because I just am in denial. Totally. And so the truth of the matter is I was kind of relieved, because he was able to pull the covers, and I was able to ask for help. I had been struggling for a long time, and really, really like thinking about suicide and not wanting to be here. And so I reached out to a woman who was a believer, and she shared like all the time with me how, if ever you want to get sober, like, I'm here. Like, we can always talk. And I was just like, that's so weird. Like, go away. I do not want to, like, get out of here. So, yeah. And like, why would you ask me? Like, ask that girl, I mean, we are the last ones to see the problem, truly. And so, she answered the call, and she met me that afternoon. And like, the beautiful thing about this woman is that she never once pushed anything. She just like kindly said, like, I totally know how you feel. I felt the way that you felt, and there is a solution. And, you're probably not going to want to hear it, but it is, through the 12 steps and Alcoholics Anonymous. And I was like, and she loved Jesus too. Right. And so like, that was what was so confusing to me. And I see now so clearly, my ministry is really talking to people who know Jesus and still struggle with addiction.
Wow.
Because I've been with people who have been radically healed. I have been with people who have been released of their addiction, right? That is not my story. Like, I have met Jesus, and I have like begged and pleaded that he please just heal me. I will do anything. Take this. And, now I can see, like, he wants me to help others who know Jesus walk through the process that I walked through of refinement, and that, it's been truly a journey that has brought me back to Jesus, because I was in full-blown rebellion for about 6 years. And then I came back to Jesus through AA, and, got rebaptized about 2 years ago, fully gave my life over. But, I've been sober almost 10 years, so 9.5.
Congrats.
It's by the grace of God. Thank you. Thank you. Truly, the glory is to him, because I couldn't do that on my own. I mean, on my own, I was consistently failing. And so, we talk a lot about God and higher power in AA, but it wasn't until, I started going to a Bible church and really got plugged in. And then now more than ever with Brooke and our Queen's Table, am I able to speak freely about Jesus and like my relationship with him, and how much that's truly, changed. But I didn't know that AA was going to bring me back to Jesus. I really thought that, and Jesus really brought me to AA,
Yeah. Well, and you probably thought I know Jesus, I know God.
Right.
It's not like you had never heard of.
Right. That was what is so confusing. Yeah. So, I think it's, I have a lot of people that I get to work with who they felt like I did. I felt like, did he forget about me? I was asking to be radically healed too. Right. And I struggled for so many years, and like silently. And, I have a calling on my life. I truly believe this, to speak for those who are suffering in silence. I want to be the light in the darkness. I want to always be that person that broke her anonymity, because I have so many people that come to me and they're like, you are the only person I know that's sober. Right. Like, when I was ready to get sober,
Secret bad people, even when they're recovered, I think don't truly tell their story.
Yeah.
Or they don't really want to get vulnerable.
Yeah.
And there's maybe still some shame around that.
And there's stigma. I mean, the thing is, I think that we're much more likely to talk about something when we've healed from it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love talking about, sobriety. I love talking about addiction. I think we all have something. So I'm thankful that mine is this, and not, like, I've seen some other really, really horrendous things that people have to deal with. And I'm like, man, this is a beautiful thing. Like, this has given me my purpose. I'm a grateful addict today. And, that's another thing people talk about. Like, I don't really like to say that I'm an addict or an alcoholic, because I believe in the power of the tongue. Here's the challenge with that for me, is that I know that to drink is to die. And that I have to remind myself every single day, because my brain will say, you can have just one. What about just one? The enemy gets us every time with that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Like, I have to remember every single day that this is something that will kill me. This is my own personal journey. It is, some people have other beliefs around this, but, I have zero problem saying I'm a recovered alcoholic, especially by the grace of God. But I wake up every single day with an alcoholic mind. And if I don't do certain practices that keep me sober, like, I'm one drink away.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so powerful that you have to stay consistent. And it's not just a season. Okay, check. I'm done. I'm healed. I'm moving on. Like it was an afterthought.
Right.
It is a constant daily battle, which I think whether you've battled with addiction or alcoholism in the past or not, we all have a daily battle. We all have there's a lot of war going on between these two ears. And what are we going to do? But in your case, and in a lot of people's cases, it's the daily discipline that's going to keep us from the self-destruction. Just one. It's not the one, because the one isn't the one that's going to kill you, but you're not stopping at one.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a powerful story. Thank you for, of course, being so honest and vulnerable. I know that's going to be so impactful for so many. And fast forward, you've built a business and you've built your empire through serving others, really, but also there is no shame in creating a business and really living a living. So we've seen firsthand what that can do. You know that you are a high performer, and no matter what you do, right? Because your physique, you continue to be very self-disciplined and all the things you do. So you go all in.
Yeah.
You're an all-in person.
Totally. Yeah.
And so unfortunately, in addiction, you're going to go all in, right? Because that is your personality, your tendency, which I think is great. When you build an empire, you need to be an all-in person.
Yeah.
When you're a queen, when I was saying earlier, I initially was like, oh, Queen's Table seems so like pretentious and not like, hey, but when the true meaning is seeing an issue and seeing a problem and really wanting to solve and sacrifice and looking out for others and creating something bigger than yourself. It's not just about, hey, I'm going to sit here and, with my crown looking pretty, right, go to glass. Yeah. No, it's actually building something for the future.
Yeah.
So that is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Tell us about the empire that you're building in your business and how that's, the healing that you've gone through, that has not been easy, but now you get to do it for others.
Yeah.
And what is that between healing and success?
Great question. So I would say, when I was 2 years sober, I was still working that corporate job and was feeling like I knew God was calling me for more. And I really had felt like I wanted to find a line of work that gave me purpose, and I could go and I could actually feel like I was making an impact. Nothing wrong with software sales. It's a great line of work, but I didn't feel like I was really impacting people's, souls through
Plus,
that.
there's conferences.
Right. Right. There's still sober conferences that get just as wild. But so I actually met a guy in AA, and he and I both really had the dream of like building a community for like doing something fun. He and I both had really fun lifestyles. For his 1 year, like a group of us went to Vegas. Like it was like, we're like, life actually doesn't stop when you get sober. It starts. And so we partnered up and opened our first rehab in 2018. We had no idea what we were doing. I had, he brought in, some investor family money. I brought in some small investor family money. And then we found a private investor, Silent. And we basically just, started, we got a consultant who helped us, and we opened our own facility in 6 months.
Wow.
And then 2 years later, we opened a second, and then we opened a third about a year later. And then there's a group of us that are in the process of opening a pretty large facility in Wisconsin. And so
amazing.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, my parents were really disheartened when they're like, "You're gonna quit your job to open a rehab." I was like, yeah, I am. Because there's a lot of stigma. I also didn't really want to be a rehab owner, to be honest. Like,
it was a risk.
Yeah, a major risk. I mean, it could have definitely not worked, but guess who still hits me up is corporate America. Like, I can always go back.
Right.
Literally. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, you cannot get your youth back. You cannot get, these opportunities back to take the risk. but you can always go back to that safe place.
Yes.
Like it will always be there, you know? And if you don't like take the risk, you're going to work for somebody who did. So I hope my employees aren't listening, but just kidding. Just kidding. I hope they are. I mean, I love being able to inspire people. When I hire people, I'm like, I hope this is the lowest on the totem pole you ever are. Because I want you to grow. I want you to, leave me at some point and go do your own thing. Or like, I hope that this is your entry point, right? Because only up from here. So when people are like, hey, I'm quitting, I'm like, oh my gosh, where are you going? Like, obviously I don't like losing good people, but it's if it's for them to,
You want to leave them better than
yes,
I say that all the time too. I don't like losing people, and also hopefully nobody's listening, but you do want what's best.
Totally. Yeah. I not really lost, but two of my really good key employees went to Wisconsin to start that project, and it hurt like operationally,
Yeah.
but I knew that it was in their best interest, and they've had an opportunity of a lifetime to open a 40-bed facility, and it was like, go, like spread your wings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry in the corner for a little bit. We'll make it happen, like my goal. And I'm talking to somebody else right now in Michigan who really wants to open an adolescent facility, and being an investor in that. And like I truly believe that we're here, like we have to like each one teach one. Like we're supposed to reach back and help someone.
Yes.
Like shame on me if I think I'm just gonna take my bag and go.
There's plenty for everyone.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like my job is now to help the others, like jump up, like let's go, like let me mentor you. I'd be happy. Like mentorship has absolutely changed my life. Brooke, the queens have changed my life. Getting a mentor in the world of a treatment center, I said, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, okay, I'll show you. Can you pay me a little bit? It was like, yeah, can we do equity? Because we have no money. He's like, sure. And like, there's so many ways to do it. And, like if you want to do it, you'll get it done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You will find a way.
Totally.
I mean, that's the true heart of an entrepreneur. We always find a way. Always. Yeah. Well, if someone listening knows they're standing in the way of their own empire, what's the first honest question they need to ask themselves?
I would say, show me your habits, I'll show you your future. I would really take an honest look at if they're standing in the way of their own, then, they probably don't want it that bad. But here's what I would say is, take an honest look at your daily habits, right?
Yeah.
And our habits make up about 45% of what we do, whether you know that you're doing it or subconsciously or not. Our habits, we all wake up, we all do the same thing over and over again. It's, are you being intentional with your time? Are you actually, I'm a huge proponent of how your morning goes is how your day flows. Yeah. And so if you're starting your morning scrolling, looking at Instagram, doing social media, like you're going to be in reactionary mode the whole day. This is something I feel like it's pretty, common sense, but, starting your day with intention, like I don't touch my phone the first hour of my day. Like it stays on airplane mode. I spend the time with the Lord. I spend the time planning, asking also like, hey, like, what are my marching orders today, God? Like, because I need to know, like, if I don't meet with God first, you do not want to meet with me. Like, you just don't. I need to be meeting with him first, and then, I'm ready to have a conversation with other people. But that also sets the precedent of like, no, I am intentional. Like I am in a responsive versus reactive mode, so that I'm responding. I'm not just like in this constant, my life is on fire. Everything is, it's like, no, I'm in full control of my day. I'm in full control of my time. And so, it's like if somebody is not happy with their weight, somebody's not happy with their relationship status, their financial status, what's in their bank account, let's look at your habits. Like, honestly, take a look at your habits. What are you doing on a daily basis? Are you being intentional? Are you growing? Do you need someone to help you, say, hey, this is like wrong, try this. I mean, we are in the age of technology. You can YouTube and Google anything.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is right there. Like, it's your doctor, your therapist, There is no excuse. Like, what do good daily habits look like? You know?
Powerful.
Yeah.
Atomic habits,
Yes.
daily habits.
Yes.
What we do consistently over time compounds. And it's like
sure.
right now can look hard
Yeah.
and look inconvenient. But then after only a few weeks, it should become a habit.
Yeah.
And then that
21 days to
over
form a habit.
21 days to form a habit. And then after how many months and years, then you can look back and say, wow, I've come this far. Like I was that girl at the bar.
Yeah.
I was that girl in line to whatever, and now, but God.
Yeah.
And also it's through the grace of God, but also these habits. Yes. God blesses our action.
Totally.
When we are inactive,
Yes.
a faith without work. I'm here. Yeah. It's like, well, I'm over here, but you do it
Right.
there, just
Right.
waiting for me to
Right.
throw you a
Right. Yes.
No,
Yeah.
he's not just gonna throw it.
Not a veer, like a sack.
But well, I've loved this conversation. Thank you for sharing your story. It's so powerful.
Thank you.
And you are such a wealth of not just knowledge, but really experience that I think is so needed in today's world. Kids and adults alike, we have access to so much, and people get things delivered nowadays. It's not like what it used to be maybe when we were teenagers, right? Yeah. And I think of that, being a teen mom, sometimes you think of all these things, but you've been through it. And you have the T-shirt to show for it.
Right.
You got the guns to show for it. So thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for doing the hard work to show the people that need that hand up. And I know this is only the beginning for you because, just a few years in, imagine what's ahead. It's truly the best is yet to come. I believe that. And I'm so proud of you. I'm proud to call you friend.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And to God all the glory.
Yes. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Empire Builder Unfiltered. If this episode spoke to you, hit follow, leave a review, and share it with another entrepreneur who's building big. Want more unfiltered truth and strategy to scale? Follow me on my socials, my website, and check the show notes for links, resources, and next steps to work with me. Remember, your empire won't build itself. Keep going, keep growing, and don't forget, you were made for this. Catch you on the next one.